So I think this is the ninth match of the year in my year at Tunnel, which, as the name suggests, is a average Joe angler fishing a match a week for a year, just seeing how we get on, fishing against the best anglers in the country on one of the UK's premier commercial fisheries. And today is a sort of bog standard Saturday Open, and the lakes in are Canal and Jenny's just behind me, and we've drawn on Canal, and specifically we're on Canal 16, which is, sort of bear with me, the magpies tucking into my ground bait. Anyway, we've drawn Canal 16, which is kind of probably not where I wanted to be today. I've got acres of room. Next one in down there, well, 13, and I don't know what that is, 2 or 3 pegs up that way. So then across from me I've got my Misfits teammate Simon fishing on Canal 9, but I don't think it's the best draw. But Nick, my other Misfits teammate, did well off this. He won the lake on, I think it might have been the final round of the teams of 4, maybe the penultimate round of the teams of 4. He won the lake off here, so maybe there's a few to be had. So anyway, we'll give it a go, usual form, and we'll catch up just at the all-in. All being well, technical issues aside, and then we'll try and catch up every hour, and at the end, and then I'll do a wrap up tomorrow when I've got home and sort of caught up with the results and reflected on what happened. But yeah, look, it's fairly mild. It's gone a little bit colder, but I think we'll probably have a few today. I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be an okay day's fishing. Don't think Canal 16 is the place to be, but we'll give it a go. Now, I need to go and rescue my ground bait from the magpies. I'll catch up with you in a bit. There we go. That's the all in. Right. Just gonna have a quick look dobbin. I'm going to spend a great deal of time on that. That's the plan. Just going to have a wee look. So send 10 minutes. I think they're going to have a feed today, so I'm not overly concerned about dobbing, but we'll do it. We'll just have a quick look around. But the plan is, once we finish doing this, is we will go across to the far bank, which is mercifully close. It's the benefit of this side of Canal. It's quite narrow, much narrower than the other side. And we will tip in, we'll just fish expanders and micros across. Hopefully we'll catch on that. And I've got some margin lines worked out, and then we're going to fish maggot short, I think, and that's it. And hopefully some of those come good. It's funny weather, actually. I'm not sure the forecast when I saw it was sort of light breeze, but when I came out of the house this morning, the trees were blowing around. Bushes, ooh, was that a bite? And it's channeling down here a little bit. And if you can hear a noise in the background, it sounds like a toddler drinking out of a straw. Yeah. Oh, that was a bite. And briefly on. Yeah, if you can hear a strange draining sound like a toddler drinking out of a straw. That's alright. There's a drain on the other side. There's also been a lot of rain overnight around here. It wasn't so much where I am, but there was a lot of rain overnight. And the level's right up. So the water's draining off around about peg 7, I think it is. So that's the weird noise that's cropping up. Well, other than me, obviously. But yeah, so it's gone a little bit colder than it was. It's a bit more breeze than I was expecting. It's channelling down here. But I'm not going to dob on this for very long, I don't think. But that was a bite just earlier. Well, that was a little indication, I think. Sure, the good thing about dobbing, it's pretty immediate, so it's either going to happen or it isn't. Sure that wasn't a sign as well. But, you know, I think we're going to catch feeding today. I just need to avoid the mistake from Thursday, and if I am catching, just stay on them. Don't try and change. I think the problem with Thursday is that I was catching nicely on expanders and micros, and I felt I had to go and change it. It was just like, felt as if that was the process you had to go through and before you went to the margins, where it was actually, you know, if I'd carried on doing that on Thursday, I'd have probably had £100, I think. So let's try and not make the same mistake again. Yeah, there we go. I was looking around there, nearly missed that. Awkward shit back here because I've got a big bank behind me, so I've got to get kind of this will be a stocky, a bit tangled up on here as well. It might be a stocky, but it's not coming in easily. Alright, so nice to have the first one relatively quickly. Nice clean bite. Hooked on the top lip. And anyway, we'll carry on. See if we can have a few more on this. Not try and get too mired up in it. And I'll catch up with you in an hour. 3 foot with expander on the hook, tapping in micros, and I've had probably another 8 or 9 F1s, but they've all been stockies, not weight builder stockies either. And I think I'm going to bin this in a minute, but I thought we'll just see the hour out on it. Simon across the way there, I mean, I've only seen him catch 3 fish, but they've all been big, I think. So, I don't think I've got £8 there. In fact, I know I haven't. But, it's not, I'm going to say, famous words from me, there's not masses being caught. I've seen Simon have a few. Because we're quite spread out, it's actually quite difficult to keep track of people. There's the odd one coming out, but it's certainly not solid. So I'm kind of not sure what my next move he's going to be. It looks like Simon's down his margins already. Inclined to sign that. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, that was a bit more solid. That's an awkward ship back. I can keep this going for a little while, I think, while we're catching the odd one. And so we're not quite at the hour mark. The stamp just seems to have improved slightly. Maybe we just need to feed a bit more aggressively over there. I don't know if this is foul hooked or just better fish. Again, it's more of a stocky than a decent one. No, it's better stamp stocky. So the stamp has just the last couple of fish been a wee bit better. Sam has just had another one down his edge. I'm going to feed it a bit more aggressively and see how that goes. And if I overfeed it, I overfeed it. Been throwing a few maggots short, so we're going to have a look at that. I haven't touched my margins. I think I've got 3 margin lines. And I think my plan is broadly to rotate margins short, and if I need to get out of jail, I could go back across. Possibly fish maggot across instead. But I say not masses coming out that I've seen. So it just could be that little bit. It's been mild, obviously quite warm and sunny on Tuesday, but mild through the week. But just dropped off a bit today. A sort of cool wind coming through. I think the wind's dropping off a bit now. It's not. Maybe it's just not the fishing off. But I don't want to spend too long just catching stockies, because it's not really going to be the weight builders we want. If they were outside of the last one, which was okay, that might not be too bad. And I could go down my margins and sort of blow those out early. Might have a quick look short actually next, just to see if anything's come on that. I've been feeding that short line, not massive amounts, just flicking a few maggots down there. I've been feeding that right from the start. It just might be one of those lines you can just nick a few ones and we might get a good run on it late. There's a little indication. But I'll try and see where everyone else. Don't know a lot of the people on here today. I don't know whether because it's the teams of 3 competition next week, which we're in. Ducks can do one. We were a bit lucky last year. We were very close around the framing a few times. Myself, Simon, and Nick. So it might be some teams. I just don't recognise some of the people here. I can see Gucci up there, very good angler. He's up on, I guess he's at 21. Oh, that's bite. Pay attention. He's been down his margins from the beginning. I've seen him have a few, but he is kind of out my eye line. I'm just going to give this not much more. I'll bang on the hour actually now. Let's have another feed. Oh, that was better. I like them where they self-hook. Looked round and suddenly the elastic was out and the pole was being pulled around. Even I can hit those bites. Okay, well, definitely. Oh, that might be a little bit foul hooked. I see a tail there. That probably would explain the. Oh no, it's just a better fish. It's funny, the last 3 fish, the stamp has just improved. Where do you think you're going? Just feeling a bit more aggressively. And that's okay fish, that. It's more the sort we would like today. So while I'm still catching ones like that, let's keep going. Feed that short line, keep that fed, see if they rock up on that at some stage. Simon's got another one. Well, I say we're only an hour in. Right now, I'm just about 10 pounds. Probably not quite that, but something approaching that. It took me a while to get this rig set up right. I got RS Dink, and it wasn't sitting right initially, but I trimmed it spot on there. Because some of these bites are just tiny. Obviously the last one wasn't. Drag your pole round type. But see if we can have another one while we're on the camera. Have a feed. But I suspect next time you see me at the 2-hour mark, we're going to be down that margin, I suspect, because we're certainly not going to be winning the match catching stockies. Need something a bit more weight building than that, but it's not a bad start for the first hour. Just ticking over, putting something in the net. Little sign. I'm glad I'm not on 7 today. That draining noise is annoying enough. The distance I am from it, I wouldn't want to be right next to it. There we go. I don't actually think that's a big fish. That's very much got the feel of a stocky about it. Famous last words. I don't know, actually. That definitely feels stocky light. It's not big, but whether it's looks cleanly hooked. They seem to be quite feisty little things actually over there. There we go. They do seem quite feisty today. Whether it's because it's warming up, they get a bit more fight in them or not, I don't know. But anyway, that's where we are, and we'll catch up with you in an hour, and hopefully we're having some slightly bigger ones. So we're just coming up, not quite at 2 hours, but that's a good moment to put the camera on, I think. So we're just coming up to 2 hours, As you can see, I am now down my edge. And I've had 3 decent F1s on this line, so I think when we last caught up I was fishing across and we ticked over for a while. I think I sort of fished it for another 15-20 minutes after we stopped filming, and we've had a few more stockies, and it slowed down, and so it was a easy decision to make to come off at. Oh, that was mine. And I've gone in short. I've been throwing a few maggots, and I had a reasonable F1 there. And now I've gone down my right edge. Started off with just tipping a little bit of ground bait maggots on the hook, and I had a couple of big F1s. And then I had a perch, I think, so I've changed it to pellet. I had a 1 on that, so I don't know what I'm at, probably about 16 F1s, maybe about 16 pound. Simon over across the way on 9 seems to be catching well down his edges. I've potted a short left edge, and I've just been on it with sweet corn on the hook, and absolutely no signs at all. Whereas when I went on this the first time, where I hadn't potted it, hadn't primed it, I had a bite, I had a fish straight away. I feel this lash is a little bit short for this depth of water at this time of year. On the other hand, I do kind of need to be able to, because I've got a bit of a breeze coming down, I do need to be able to have control over the float. But if need be, I can fish it with a longer lash. But having now, oh, there's a fish, I gotta say, having a bit sort of thinking there wasn't anything there, that maybe it had all gone a little bit quiet. I just had 1, don't know what size it is, but I got a feeling this is giving me the game today. These edges. I say Simon's catching really well over there. He's going to have a good weight, I think. It's just another one. So, okay, F1. That was on pellet. So maybe about 17. Back out there. I'm sort of priming this short line. I've just brought it a bit closer to me. It'd be nice if we had a run on that later. No, I think we'll keep trucking down these edges. Keep going, see if we can have. Oh, the sun's coming out now. It's quite not unpleasant. I was just thinking that wasn't going to float, wasn't going to go, and just bang. Yeah, not unpleasant. That's not particularly meant to be particularly. I think it's meant to be about 9 degrees or so today, but with that sun, it feels quite pleasant. Here we go. Didn't take very long, did it? That's okay fish as well. I don't know where it's going, mind you. They are waking up a bit. It's sort of, you know, the water warms up. The fish are finding it a bit harder. The stocky's been particularly scrappy. What we got? It was okay fish. I don't think it's massive. It's jinking all over the place. I don't think it's felt hooked. No, I think it's just stocky again, isn't it? But it's a little pound stocky. Should we go out again, see if we can get another one? Keep feeding this. Change line. So I did dob a bit of bread earlier, and I did have one, but today is officially the last day for bread. So you can use it 1st of October. I'm going to move that section of the pole. 1st of October through to end of February, and it is the 28th of February today, so last day for using it, but can't see us going back out on that again now. I think we're done for 1 year. It's been funny, it has been a bit more of a dobbing year this year. I felt last year there weren't so many people catching on bread, but particularly after Christmas or just before Christmas when it just got cold, it became a bit of a key method, and dobbing out in open water seemed to be the method when it was really difficult to catch. And I've actually quite enjoyed my bread fishing in the last few outings. But no, that's all gone. And tomorrow is the start of the Summer League. There's two elements to that. One is to qualify for the big money final, which is in September. So you've got from 1st of March through to 31st of August. And I think you've got to fish a certain number of matches. Ooh, that was bite. Feel it gone. You've got to fish a certain number of matches. I can't remember, but you've got to effectively win to qualify, win the match to qualify. Though there is the option of a roll down, but you've still got to be in the top 3 for the roll down to count. So if you don't win it, well, the person that finished ahead of you and you're in the top 3 has already qualified. Then you qualify. It changed last year. It used to be, it just kept rolling down. So it turned out if you turned up long enough and keep coming along, and got half decent result by the end of the summer, you ended up qualifying. But Sarah's made it rather tougher. Difficult to get in the top 3 here. Just particularly as the summer wears on, there we go. Guess some really good anglers. There's quite a few fishing as well. You also got the added complication. That's a nice fish. You've got to be on the right lake. You know, there's normally more than one, at least, you know, probably 2 or 3 lakes in. And one always fishes better than the other. So you kind of got to be on the right lake. But it's a lovely fish. And that is the most appalling piece of netting ever. Let's try not to break the landing net handle, Rich, today. That's a nice fish. Ooh. Bit for freedom there. Alright, well, I think that's probably a good time to leave you. So we're ticking over. I can keep catching down these edges. That would be nice. But I'll catch up with you in another hour. Right, so we're 3 hours in, and I've really lost track of what we've caught, I have to say. I think around about 30 fish, but a lot of stockies. And since I last caught up with you, I've been catching down the edge. I haven't caught on this line yet. This kind of this short line here, I try and be feeding corn. I've been caught that side to the tree, and longest towards the tree up there. But we had a nice start in the margins with a couple of decent fish. But it's all become, there's some signs here, it's all become very stocky-ish. So, there we go. That's better fish. This, I'm trying to make corn work now because I was fishing pellets, but then it was just becoming more and more stocky-ish. So I'm really trying on this line to get some corn going. That's not a carp, is it? And I'm going to put in a shorter line on this right hand side. Sun's come out. I have to go back to the car to get my sunglasses on. That's a better fish. I just hope now. I hope now we can use the corn to get it going a bit. I'm going to put a short line in here in a minute. We've also got short, which we didn't feed in. So, I don't know. I think we've probably got about £32 after 3 hours. But I don't know what's been caught. Some masses. Simon's doing well. I think Simon's sneaking them in. Looks like he's on a top kit line short either side. And definitely every time I look up he's had one. But I don't know that anybody else is. There's definitely some people fishing short. Gucci's definitely having some. I would expect him to, but he's a good angler. And that's definitely lad on whatever that is, 7 fishing shallow like of it. Don't know if he's catching, but obviously if that goes then he could catch quite well. I'm a little bit guilty of losing track of what I've caught here. But it's not massive amounts. I need to really get them on this corn, and I do think I need to come a bit shorter. Perhaps pick up some of the bigger ones that will venture in. Anyway, I think in the last one I might have been talking about the Summer League, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure I finished what I said I was going to say. Didn't qualify for the Summer League, might mention that already. But apologies if I did. I didn't qualify for it last year. It's difficult to qualify. You've got to be top 3. Later on the season, you can get rolled down if those ahead of you in the top 3 have already qualified. The other element of the Summer League is a league, and they take your top 10 results. I think it's 10. Some signs here for a clean bite. And they take your top 10 results and you get 10 points for a win, I think, through to 9 for second, through to 1 for 10th. So we'll do that. It'd be nice to qualify for the final. but not an easy task by any means. But back to the task in hand. Yeah. I'm not sure at the moment. I've got to get these lines going on Shook Corner. That is the only way we're going to get the stamp required. I don't think Canal is fishing brilliantly. I could be wrong. I'm always wrong on this. And again, this is a little bit stocky-ish. And the stockies are not wanting to come in easy today. Right. Keep feeding the short line. But I felt if we can get them going on corn, then that would be quite nice. Anyway, we'll keep ticking up. It's gone very bright. I had to go into the car, get my sunglasses out, which looked like we were going to have a deluge when I first arrived, so I got my wet weather gear on really quick. But it's quite pleasant at the moment. It is very, very bright. Let's just go back down here again for a minute, see if we can get another one. Try not to knock the camera over. So I think I'm going to open up a shorter line between me and the tree. Yep, that went straight away, so let's just throw in a few bits of corn. Again, possibly a bit stocky-ish, but encouraging. My thinking is if I could put a shorter line in, it's probably going to be the bolder, bigger ones that come in on it. Simon's got another one. Bag of bowing. That's just caught on that. Anyway, I don't know. 30 odd pound over at this moment in time. I'll try and stay with it for the next hour, give you a slightly more accurate update when we speak next at the 4-hour mark. But after 3 hours, we're doing all right. I feel we are getting ourselves in a position where we could get a run. And hopefully we do. Anyway, I'll catch you in an hour. So we're just coming up to the 4-hour mark. And I think sort of 50 minutes or so, I think, since I last spoke to you. We've had 7 F1s, I think. Couple of better ones, the rest stockies. I've just opened up, finally got this shorter line moving a bit. I get some signs on it, getting clean bites is another thing. But, that was not look a clean bite. I'm just hoping this slightly short line, they want to come on it, but it's been a bit slow. I know we've got bites, it's invariably, yeah, there's one. It's invariably stockies, that's the problem. Again, it's not a massive fish. And Bagger Bowen over there, have a look round, he's having a good match. So look at the pool. They're catching, I think there's only, was it 7 there? 6 or 7 catching shallow. But let's see what this mass is coming out. Probably salmon's probably the best I've seen, but only probably because he's right opposite me. But well, this is probably my best hope of stitching something together, really. Should not slipped. The problem has just been too many stockies, really. Have to get some clean bites down here. It's clouding up a bit down there as well, so they're coming in. And given it's the end of February, we're effectively on the top kit line. That's quite nice. Oh, that's a clean bite. 3's catching well. But I'm so remote from everybody else, it's a bit difficult to see what's coming out. So if whatever 6 or 7's fishing the overshotted, it's certainly catching a few. Well, there's entirely bagging up, I don't know. One's playing one. Those are the boss pegs on Canal, typically. I think generally you want to be on the other side, the wider side, I think. And then typically 1, 3, 5 are kind of the boss pegs. And then 23. The wind's actually different direction. There's one. Different direction from normal. I don't know what it's meant to be. I think it's a northwesterly, I think, today. Again, not tiny, but it's more stocky than anything else. But at least we're catching. "23 is the other good peg down there. You got the reed bed across, but opposite end from us. This, as is the shallower end. See if we can get one more onto the camera. Come on, we're filming. They are coming in on this. Definitely some activity down there. It's just colouring up a bit as well. But I don't think we're catching in the volume to do anything, but I think it was always going to be a bit of a big ask to do much from 16 today. I'm going to throw mag shot. We'll have a look, sure, just in case they've rocked up on that. There we go. What have we got? It's another. You know, it's not tiny, but it's not desperately big either. anyway, that's where we are. Don't know, I've got no idea. I've completely lost track of what weight we got. Need this line to really go, to be honest. So throwing a few there. That has been really disappointing, that line there. Off to the left, I've had a few on it, but I thought that might be quite good. You never know what's on the bottom, that's the problem. A couple of little pied wagtails down here. Looking for some food, which I'm going to give them. Go on. No signs on this line yet. Anyway, oh, no signs. Float shoots under. Give it a second or two, just see if we can have one more. Generally, a sign if you're catching stockies, you're just not in the right spot. It feels like the big fish are where the big fish are, and the stockies stay away from them. So if you're on stockies, you're just not on the fish. They're lovely stockies, sort of pristine fish. I said that they've been quite lively today. They don't come out easily. We just need some bigger ones, really, to do any good, I think. Ooh. I don't know what this is. Ooh, that's where you end up with that. Felt a bit foul hook that. Anyway, we'll catch up with you at the end. I'll put the cameras on a little bit before the finish. Just a nice run at the end here on this short margin line. Maybe it's fading out now, I don't know, but finally got them going on the corn, and starting to get the odd better stamped fish, but it's been absolutely lovely fishing for the last half hour anyway. Last 20 minutes really. Probably might just faded now. Curse of the camera. But this has been really hectic fishing out here. I don't know, I've probably had I'm not sure. I can't lost count where we are with a lot of stockies today. There we go. Just chuck in a few grains of corn. See if you can go. Not playing well. Let's go back. These are the days when you can get them going, you get a nice finish. It feels like in recent weeks it petered out at the finish. It's lovely when you get them coming in well at the end, which you can do if you get your margins right. Better one again. I don't know what's going on. Bagger's catching well as it ever. So I think at our end, because he'll be in my section, I'd be very surprised if Simon hasn't won the section. But frankly, we've had a lovely, nice day ticking over. And I say, there isn't anything better really. Oh, there's a shot drifted up. It isn't much better than when you just get those situations where it just builds up towards the end and you're catching. Not sure whether that went in or not. And you're just catching well at the end. I'm just sort of, yeah, you get the idea. Again, absolutely nailed that. Oh, okay, I'm not wholly convinced where that's hooked. I think it's alright. That might be under the chin. It could be come flying back at me. Yeah. It looked as if it was a big fish. It just looked as if it was underneath the chin. It's 28. Maybe just get a chance to get one more. I don't know what I caught. I did see one sticking another net, so presumably he's having a few. But I've absolutely no idea what I've got. But I think it's quite a good confidence booster. I just wanted to be able to catch a few. And so we're ready for the teams of 3 next week. And we've been able to put some of the net. I don't think it's the best draw in the world. And so just nice to be able to get a little run at the end. And we're saying that's just gone quiet again now. Would have been helpful to get that one in. There we go. Bang. It wasn't. I don't think we're going to get out again, I suspect. Can't be far from the all in. All out. All in. Sadly, I think this is a bit of a stocky. Oh, it's very much a stocky. Let's get him in the nets. Get some corn on. I won't bother even put any ground bait in. Let's see. Just quickly nick another one. Nah, not gonna happen. Anyway, look, lovely day. I enjoyed that. Didn't have great expectations. Hooked myself. Didn't have great expectations today, to be fair. But it's been steady. So we'll get weighed in, and we'll have a catch up tomorrow when I know what I caught and how everybody else has got on, and see what we can learn from the day. And yeah, I'll catch you then.
So quick wrap up on yesterday's match, sort of 24 hours later. So just quickly summarise the match. I've started off dobbing bread across, really because it's kind of the last week we're going to be able to do that. Or last day we could have done that, to be fair. And I've had a few indications. I've had one stocky, but I haven't stayed on that very long, sort of 15 minutes maybe. And then we've gone across with expanders on the hook, tipping in a few micros. And that's been good. I mean, we caught, probably caught about a dozen F1s, I guess, but they were small, they were stockies, small stockies at that. So it was busy, but we didn't put an enormous amount of weight in the net, and then that sort of petered out a bit. Had a quick look short where I've been throwing a few maggots, but I had one stocky on that. And then I've gone down my margins, gone down my right margin, and just tipping in a bit of ground bait. Started with maggots on the hook, had 2 big F1s, then a perch, so I changed that to pellet, and then I had another decent F1. And then it's sort of, I was still catching there, but I was catching stockies. So I've had that line, I had a couple of lines to my left, and I got a little bit sort of fixated with the short one, trying to make that work. And though I think we had a couple of fish on the camera, pretty much that was it. And I wasted a lot of time trying to make that short left-hand line work. There was a longer left-hand line to the tree, and I did have a couple on that, and definitely should have used that more. I've ticked over in the margins through the day. I then shortened my right-hand margin just to finish, and that was good. And we had a really nice run in the last 30 minutes, particularly. That was, a lovely way to finish the match. So we've ended up with 72 pounds. And I had no idea what I got. Actually, I need to do a better job of counting, and I'll try and do that next week. So I wasn't providing a lot of good feedback through at the tail end of the match as to where we'd reached, because I had absolutely no idea. So we'll do a better job of that. In terms of match results, just having a look. So let's talk about, it was on Canal, it was on Jenny's. Let's talk about Canal. So it has been won by Jason Gucci, and he was on peg 21. And now I can see him starting in his margins. But speaking to him afterwards, he's caught shallow, and he's had 97 pounds 5 ounces. Then second was my Misfits Ducks Can Do One teammate, and he's had the Simon Bowen. So he's had 89 pounds 10 ounces. Third on the lake was Bailey White. He's had 89 pounds 3 ounces. He was on 6, and I could see him, and I think he was fishing an overshotted rig. Shallow. And fourth was me with 72 pounds, and then fifth was Jake Elliott on 11 with 71 pounds. And then overall, young Alex has won the match off Jenny's 2. He's had 112 pounds. Second was Jason Gucci. Nick Jameson was third. He's caught off Jenny's pool 24, so it seems as if they were in that top end of Jenny's rather than the other end, which is where normally the wind blows into. So Nick's had 94, Simon Bowen's had 89 for fourth, and Bailey White was fifth with 89 as well, off Canal 6. So I finished 8th, which is kind of the mid-table mediocrity that I generally aspire to. Happy enough with that. Wasn't a peg I fancied. Though, to be fair, clearly the wind pushing up into our end probably gave our half of the lake an advantage from what I could see. So those were the results. Reflections on the match. Yeah, look, first of all, absolutely loved it. Fantastic to get a good run and finish strong at the end. That's always a great way to end a match. You just don't want to stop fishing. It was brilliant. So I love that. Don't think I got massive amounts wrong. So what I touched on earlier, I just got fixated by this short left-hand line. Couldn't make it work. Reality is you just don't know what's on the bottom there. I mean, it could have been an old reed bed or something like that. It never felt right. I was getting silly indications, getting the old fish, silly indications. It's just something wrong about it. What I should have done, and it would have made a big difference, is fish longer down to my left, where I did have a couple of fish, and where I know Nick had caught a few weeks previously, and he told me precisely where it was. I had a line which I knew must be clean because it'd been caught, he'd caught off it. And that would have enabled me to rotate left and right nicely. and I would have ticked over a lot better. So that was a mistake. I definitely could have caught more if I'd have done that, but that's one of those things I didn't. So it's funny. It's great to look at it with the benefit of hindsight. You can be very analytic about it, but when you're in the heat of the moment, sometimes you're not quite as rational, or maybe I should say I'm not quite as rational as I'd like to be. Anyway, that's it for that match, I think. Next week, I'm just going to have a look at the forecast, see what we can see. But next week is the team to 3 competition, which normally has some real superstars turning up for that. And our Ducks can do one team, probably looking at us as 3 anglers wouldn't be one of the favourites, but last year we were sort of very on the edge of the frame for all of the team to 3 competitions, I think. So it'd be good just to, it was a good team performance today. It'd be good to just edge a little bit closer if we can and get in the frame. So we'll give that a good go. So normally a few superstars turn up for that match. So that'll be interesting to report back on. And just looking at the forecast, Saturday the 7th of March looks as if we've got light cloud and light winds and sort of maximum of 12 degrees. So yeah, 5 mile an hour southerly forecast, and a lot can change up to then, but looks lovely conditions, and it's fished well today, good weights coming off. And it does strike you, we're the end of February and there are a lot of people catching shallow. So, things are definitely changing. We're getting into spring and the fishing's changing. So looking forward to that match. Obviously, as ever, hopefully there won't be any technical issues. We'll try our very best, but hopefully bring you another match report next week. So look forward to catching up with you then.